18 inches of rain fell north of Mobile in 24 hours and more is already loading up. A severe thunderstorm watch is active right now for 16 Texas Panhandle counties until 11 p.m. 2 large storm systems are dropping from the Aleutian Islands aimed straight at the United States. Stay with me at 4 minutes. I show you why your city is in the danger zone. Make it to the end. I have drought news that is most encouraging in a year. I want to be honest, when I pulled up this morning's models, I sat back and stared. I have tracked weather patterns for a long time, and this one is genuinely unlike anything recent. I personally think this is the most consequential atmospheric shift we have seen in years. Burn this into your memory. This is not one storm. It is a machine that keeps reloading. Let's start with the most urgent active alert, a severe thunderstorm watch for the Texas Panhandle. Watch 242 covers, 16 Texas counties, and 2 in Oklahoma's Panhandle valid until 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time tonight. That watch covers Amarillo, Pampa, Borger, Canyon, Lubbock, and every community in between tonight. Armstrong, Carson, Dallam, Deaf Smith, Donley, Gray, Hansford, Hartley, all inside the watch tonight. Large hail, damaging winds, and an isolated tornado are all on the table under that watch tonight. Think about Earl, a retired driver outside Amarillo. His vehicle needs to be undercover right now. Earl knows that baseball-sized hail destroys a car in under 60 seconds. No destination is worth that. Meanwhile, a flood watch is active for Louisiana and southeast Texas, valid through Sunday at 1 p.m. That flood watch covers dozens of Louisiana parishes from Vernon and Rapides all the way to Jefferson. Allen, Avoyelles, Beauregard, Lafayette, St. Landry, and Baton Rouge area parishes are all inside it. A series of weak disturbances lifts over a warm, moist air mass all through the holiday weekends. The NWS anticipates 4 to 6 inches widespread with isolated amounts up to 10 to 15 inches. 10 to 15 inches isolated, more than some Louisiana communities see in 2 full months. Extensive street flooding and flooding of creeks and rivers are possible across Louisiana through Sunday. Here's the number I kept coming back to, 18 inches north of Mobile in 24 hours. To put 18 inches in perspective, more than Atlanta typically sees in 3 full months. All that water saturated the soil. Now new disturbances are training over the exact same spots. Saturated ground has nowhere to send new rainfall that turns a flood watch into a flood warning. Drop your city and state in the comments. I come back tonight with your specific breakdown. Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Nebraska, Ohio, wherever you are, drop your city below right now. Beyond the Texas Panhandle watch, today's severe threat stretches across a wide corridor of the South. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, and South Carolina all face storm potential today. Southwest Nebraska and northwest Kansas also carry an isolated severe storm threat this Saturday. Central Ohio carries a smaller area of severe weather threat into the evening today as well. With storms this widespread, your specific window differs from your neighbor's city. Check your radar. By 5 p.m. Saturday, the Texas Panhandle watch fires with large hail-capable storms across the Panhandle. By 7 to 9 p.m. Saturday, that complex pushes east toward Lubbock, Childress, and into western Oklahoma. By 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday, Gulf Coast storm activity surges northeast toward Mississippi and Alabama. By 1 to 3 a.m. Sunday, that storm band continues pushing northeast through the overnight hours. Here is why this is not just a bad weather weekend. It comes down to one number. The Nino 3.4 region, the Pacific driver of U.S. weather, is 1.09 degrees Celsius above average. What that means for your weekend is the atmospheric conveyor belt is running faster than it should. The Nino 1+2 region is running 2.05 degrees above average, the highest reading this early in years. Think of it this way, the Pacific is running a fever that fuels every storm you see. El Ninos typically emerge late June or early July. This one is already here in late May. We are running weeks ahead of schedule. That is why this pattern looks so relentless right now. Above normal sea surface temperatures off Mexico extend toward Hawaii, and that warm water means fuel. The more Pacific fuel there is, the stronger that atmospheric fire hose gets aimed at the south. Now let me explain the 2 large storm systems, because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. 2 large storms are dropping from the Aleutian Islands and swinging down along the west coast. The first storm enters the air mass by midweek and blows up convection across the southern plains. The second system arrives toward end of May and pushes dew points even higher across the southeast. That Alaskan trough shifts south all the way to the Great Basin by Wednesday, May 27th. Tell me your city below, and I will personally come back with your local 7-day timeline tonight. Baton Rouge, Houston, Mobile, Atlanta, Omaha, Nebraska. I want every city in those comments tonight. Now let's move into Sunday, May 24th, because the pattern takes 0 days off this entire weekend. Sunday brings severe storm chances across southern Minnesota, central and eastern Nebraska, and Iowa. Sioux Falls, South Dakota is inside Sunday's severe window. Large hail up to 2 inches is possible. 2-inch hail is golf ball to hen egg size. It destroys vehicles, siding, and crops in minutes. By Sunday's afternoon peak, any organized Nebraska storm carries a large hail and damaging wind threats. By Sunday evening, storm activity expands east toward Des Moines and into southwest Minnesota. Think about Dorothy, a retired teacher in Baton Rouge. She canceled her outdoor cookout for good reason. Dorothy moved her lawn furniture inside Thursday. By Saturday, she already had 3 inches in her yard. Dorothy has her high water routes mapped, her alerts on full volume, and neighbors already checked on. Meanwhile, across the southeast on Sunday, heavy showers continue from the Appalachians through the Carolinas. West Virginia, the Carolinas, and Georgia are all carrying a significant drought right now. The drought in central North Carolina and Virginia is running 10 to 12 inches behind normal this year. 10 to 12 inches behind, like skipping most of your entire spring rainfall in one single season. This weekend's rainfall is not a drought buster, but it is the most meaningful step in months. And then there is Frank, a retired rancher outside Albuquerque who texted me this morning. Frank asked me one question: when does his rain finally arrive after months of nothing out west? Frank, your answer is coming up shortly, and I think it is going to genuinely surprise you. Now let's talk Memorial Day Monday, May 25th. The SPC has no formal risk posted right now, but I personally think a marginal risk shows up somewhere in the Deep South before Monday morning. Memorial Day starts with pesky showers across Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, a wet holiday morning. The Gulf Coast will see 2 to 4 inches of rainfall accumulate through the Memorial Day evening hours. Do not cancel plans, but have a radar app and a solid backup plan for outdoor events. If you have a Monday outdoor event with no tent, you need one, plain and simple. But here is the part nobody's talking about, the one that kept me up last night. This pattern does not end with Memorial Day. Both major models show active storms through June 7th. That is nearly 2 full weeks of nonstop storm activity across the central and eastern United States. Tuesday, May 26th, Deep South, Southeast, Ohio Valley, and Mid-Atlantic all stay very wet and active. Wednesday, May 27th, still very active heavy precipitation across the central and eastern United States. And then something genuinely caught me off guard: late May mountain snow for the Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada mountain snow in late May 2026 is unusual, but models are locked in. Even some Cascades are seeing late May snowfall. That is a remarkable atmospheric signature. Thursday, May 28th, still very active, with a backdoor East Coast trough pushing temperatures lower. That backdoor trough is dragging temperatures below average all the way through end of May. Some southeast areas could be stuck in the 60s and low 70s even as June arrives. Now here's the part I want you to hear: something is forming down in the Gulf. As high pressure builds overhead, it lowers pressure underneath, and ensemble models are watching that. The European and American models are both placing areas of low pressure developing by early June. I personally do not think this forms tropical, but it brings heavier rains back to the south. South Georgia, people have been asking me, your substantial rain is on the table here. Saturday, May 30th and Sunday, May 31st, the plains and Deep South stay active with another full reload. By June 2nd through June 7th, the East Coast gets pulled back into the stormy weather mix. Now, Frank, here is your answer, and I was not kidding, it would surprise you. Colorado and New Mexico are showing above average precipitation in ensemble data for late May. This was not there a month ago. It tells you something huge is changing in the atmosphere. The above average signal for the Southwest will eventually help fuel the monsoon season through June. Four Corners states Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. Your drought relief window is approaching. And as the Pacific gets going, low pressure centers off Central America will feed that moisture north. Frank, your rain is on the way, not this weekend, but within a few weeks. And now something that will surprise everyone watching from New England and the Northeast tonight. A frost advisory is posted for Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia overnight. That frost advisory runs 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. Sunday, temperatures dropping to near or below freezing. Damage to plants, trees, and crops is possible. Gardeners in Maine and Vermont, cover plants now. Grand Falls, Campbellton, Edmundston, and Fredericton communities in New Brunswick frost overnight. This frost is driven by the same backdoor trough, keeping East Coast temperatures well below average. Let that sink in. Flooding in Louisiana, thunderstorm watch in Texas, frost in Maine tonight. One country, one weekend, 3 completely different extreme weather stories happening at the same time. Now let's talk temperatures, because this pattern creates one of the starkest contrasts in recent memory. Canada and the northern tier are seeing 15 to 25 degrees above average temperature anomalies right now. That jet stream lifting so far north into Canada is what is responsible for those warm anomalies. Meanwhile, across the south, below average temperatures dominate because of clouds and constant storms. It feels humid and muggy down south, but afternoon highs are suppressed compared to typical late May. Let me give you the full city breakdown so you know where you stand in this 10-day pattern. New Orleans and Baton Rouge ground zero for the flood watch tonight. Totals could be historic locally. Houston, Beaumont, and Lake Charles inside the flood watch. Heavy rain continues through Sunday. Mobile and Pensacola, the area that already saw 18 inches, faces another heavy round tonight. Jackson, Mississippi flood watch area, heavy rain through Sunday, flash flooding threat growing fast. Shreveport and Monroe, Louisiana inside the watch zone, rivers and creeks rising quickly today. Alexandria, Louisiana ground zero for backyard flooding as multiple disturbances train through overnight. Atlanta and Macon Saturday storm threat active today, then heavy rain persists through Memorial Day. Charlotte and Raleigh wet Saturday and Sunday ahead. Drought relief coming, but flooding also possible. Nashville and Memphis storms tracking east overnight. Stay weather aware through Sunday morning. Little Rock and Fort Smith, Arkansas active storm threat Saturday evening into the overnight hours. Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska Sunday is your bullseye. Large hail peaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Sunday. Sioux Falls, South Dakota Sunday storm threat real. Stay heads up between 2 and 7 p.m. Sunday. Columbus, Ohio, isolated severe threat today. Then active storm chances continue through mid-next week. Kansas City and Wichita storm activity possible Saturday evening as the complex pushes east and north. Lexington and Louisville, Kentucky, wet weekend ahead. Ohio Valley stays active through Tuesday. Pittsburgh and Charleston, West Virginia Sunday brings the most meaningful drought relief in months. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia wet Memorial Day weekend ahead. Heavy rain Sunday night. Denver and Colorado Springs above average rainfall signal building through late May into June monsoon. Amarillo and Lubbock ground zero for tonight's severe thunderstorm watch. Large hail your top hazard. With all these active alerts, here are your action items specific with deadlines, no vague advice. Texas Panhandle watch area vehicles under cover before 5 p.m. today, not after the hail starts. Louisiana and Southeast Texas flood watch. Check every flood-prone road in your route before tonight. Turn around. Don't drown. 10 to 15 inches isolated means some roads you drove yesterday are gone. Phone alerts on full volume before you sleep. Nocturnal storms are the sneakiest of all. Gardeners in Maine, Vermont, and New Brunswick plants need to be covered before midnight tonight. Share this video with someone in Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, or the Carolinas before they head outside. A real heads up from someone they trust beats 10 push notifications they will swipe right past. And now the genuine good news I promised, and this one is actually worth celebrating. Just 1 month ago, Louisiana was in exceptional drought, and that chapter is closing for good. Colorado and New Mexico are seeing above-average precip signal after months of absolutely nothing. The Carolinas, West Virginia, and Virginia are getting their first meaningful drought relief in months. This is roaring back with a vengeance for bone-dry communities. This pattern is long overdue. Let me take you back to those three opening numbers: 18 inches, 16 counties, 2 Aleutian storms. El Nino 2.05 degrees above average, weeks of rain reloading, a Gulf low forming by early June. Those numbers are not going down. Every model run this week has been trending wetter. Earl in Amarillo car covered before 5 p.m. Shelter confirmed. Watch on his phone. Dorothy in Baton Rouge, 3 inches already in her yard. High water routes mapped. Neighbors checked. Frank in Albuquerque finally getting his answer after months of waiting for any rain at all. 3 people, 3 dangers, 2 storm systems, 1 El Nino that arrived 6 weeks early. Prepare now. Flooding in Louisiana, thunderstorm watch in Texas, frost in Maine, 1 country, 1 Saturday night. Not here to ruin your Memorial Day, here to make sure you have a Tuesday. Drop your city one last time below. I come back tonight with your specific local timeline. Tomorrow's update brings fresh model data on both Aleutian systems and that Gulf low pressure signal. Mark my words, when those 2 storms combine with this El Nino fuel, we will talk long. This machine is just getting started. The subtropical jet says the reloading is nowhere near done.